Here we go. Here we go. It's about 28 degrees outside and it's kind of starting to snow a little bit. We're going to test out the high output power stroke in the 7.3 liter gas from Ford. I think that this video is very important for someone who might be looking to drive these vehicles in the wintertime, because if you don't know this, they always get worse fuel economy when it's cold outside. So let's go ahead and drive the diesel. It's actually high idling right now and it's taking forever for it to heat up. So I'm gonna drive it down the street and then we're gonna go ahead and get started. If you're looking at the high output power stroke, this engine is gonna put out 500 horsepower, 1,200 pound-feet of torque, 10-speed transmission known as a 10R140. Let's see how it accelerates. Here we go. Oh man.
30. 60.
That actually wasn't bad. I literally was fighting for traction. On that median is still a little slippery. There's like a little bit of ice there. So unfortunately that was, in my opinion, a pretty good 0 to 60 under 9 seconds with slippery conditions. And the amount of torque and power this truck has off the line, it's insane. So yeah, it slipped, and I didn't really notice that it was slipping once it hit boost, but I could definitely tell that if the roads were drier in that spot, I think I probably would have done less than 8 seconds on that run. I mean, there's a little bit of a delay there. So, but one thing I will say in this test, I've said this many times before, I mean, these trucks ride extremely well for HD Super Duty pickups. And it's hard to see a truck like this cost 80 grand, $85,000. I think that's what this truck costs, 85 grand. Here's the window sticker. If you guys will be able to see that, I don't know, but yeah, $85,000 for an XLT pickup. I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know that I would get the XLT with the Tremor package. I think I would just get a basic Lariat with this package, honestly. But I did reset the trip one, and I will check back in here in a second. Let me show you guys some of the RPMs with the 355 rear end that these Tremors come with. About 65 miles an hour. We're just a little bit, I think we're like right at 1,500 RPMs. That's about 1,500. And then if we get up to 75, man, this truck has so much power. Yeah, we're like at probably 1,700 RPMs. So yeah, let's go ahead and check out some of the temperatures so far. It's showing the engine coolant's at 172, transmission's at 131, and then the engine oil temperature's at 174. So it's 32 degrees outside now, so it did warm up a little bit, but otherwise it's still pretty chilly out here. That's the only negative thing about diesel engines. In the wintertime, it takes these things forever to heat up, and if you live in really cold climates, you're definitely going to be using the engine block heater. You definitely want to make sure the truck has high idle. I think Ford's, I think they might come standard with high idle, I think. I know GM makes you option your truck with it, but yeah, you definitely want to make sure, if it is an option, I can't remember off the top of my head, you opt for it. But it probably took this truck another 5 or so minutes to get just somewhat up to operating temperature, and I still had to drive it, you know, a couple times before I even took it out on the road here. So we should be at the midpoint in about a minute or so, and I'll show you guys where we are in terms of the fuel economy. Alrighty, so exit 11 is here. Oh, I still have the temperatures up. Let me just go back here. Trip 1. Oh wow, we're doing a lot better than I thought we were. That was with the 0 to 60, really it was 0 to 80. And yeah, we're at 17.4, and it's gonna continue to go up because we're just coasting right now. But I can't wait to show you guys the difference between this and the 7.3. It's gonna be pretty good. Now, if you do want to heat up the engine a little bit quicker on the highway, like if you don't have time to let it idle in the driveway, you can always turn on the exhaust brake to full, and that will definitely heat up the engine a lot quicker, and probably the transmission too, because it uses the RPMs to help you slow down. But let's go ahead and get back to the dealership and I'll show you guys where we end off at. Cruising between 60 to 70 miles an hour. You can see the turbo boost right there. It's at about 7 psi, and the highest I saw it go when we were just cruising was about 8 to 9 psi. So this truck does run pretty low boost. Now, I wonder if you put it in eco mode, I wonder if that would drop the boost a little bit. So we're going 67 miles an hour, and it dropped the PSI a little bit. Like, it dropped by 3 PSI. If I get up to 70 miles an hour, let's just see real quickly. It didn't jump into 9th gear too with that acceleration. But yeah, it runs a little bit lower boost compared to what I was seeing earlier. Like, I'm giving it a little bit of acceleration because we're gonna get ready to go up a hill. But that's pretty nice. I didn't know that. I would not expected the PSI to change much. But it's definitely going down. It was like 8 to 9 PSI when I was cruising earlier in just normal mode. And now it's at 7 or 6. And I saw about 5 for a little bit too. And we are going up a little bit of a incline here. And if I take my foot off the gas, you have your exhaust brake. So even in eco mode, the exhaust brake isn't as strong. That's pretty interesting, because it was going up to about 24% earlier when I did this. So you learn something new every day. So I'm going to take my foot off the gas again. Yeah, the exhaust brake is a lot weaker with the eco mode. So if you want the truck to warm up a little bit quicker, just run it in the normal mode and then you can switch over. Now here are the numbers on the door. The gross axle weight rating up front is going to be 5,200 pounds, which is going to be higher than the gas, which you'll see here in a second. And then the gross axle weight rating in the rear is 7,050, which is the same. 12,000 pound gross fuel weight rating, and then here is the payload, 4,000 pounds. So if you take the 12,000 and subtract it from 4,000, that gives you 8,000 pounds. That's how much the truck weighs on the curb. You just pull back in, we'll stop basically right here, and we're at 17.3 MPG. So let's go ahead and check the engine temperature. I got a new tool in my arsenal. I figured I wanted to try something different here. So here are the temperatures, and let's go check them on the outside. Kind of hard on this truck because it's so like buried with all this stuff. But if you look at the EGR, 195 is where it was at the highest. Let's check out the gas engine next. The 7.3 liter does have class leading horsepower and torque. 430 horsepower, 485 pound-feet of torque. Same transmission, 10R140. Let's see how it accelerates. Here we go. Power doesn't mean anything when you can't put it down. And don't get me wrong, I know someone in the comment section will say, it doesn't make any sense for you to do these types of videos. I like doing these types of videos because a lot of people don't do these types of videos. So for me, it's just something for you to kind of get an idea about, right? So, oh wow, this truck is actually showing empty. I did not notice that. But I do like the fact that this gas engine, it just feels a lot more easier to drive. Like, I feel as though the high output power stroke, I almost wonder if they should just give that truck all-wheel drive. Like, it's so much power, man, to the rear wheels. And if I ever get a chance to get another used high output, I will start putting it in like 4 high just to see how well it launches. But yeah, you can't beat a gas engine right now, especially this one. This one is really good, has a lot of performance, and this one having the 430 rear end, I feel like it puts the power down nicely with the Tremor. So it's rare that you see people optioning these trucks with the 430 unless it's a Tremor, which comes standard with it. And I don't know why, but like, because of Utah or any state that has high elevation, I recommend the 430. But I think either way, you'll still have enough power, because 430 horsepower is a good bit of horsepower. And 485 pound-feet of torque, I think that this truck is done well. Now, because this truck has the 430, your RPMs are going to run a little higher. So even at 65 miles an hour, we were pretty much where the diesel was with the 355 at 65 basically. So yeah, the 65 mile an hour is where the diesel was at 75. I hope I said that correctly. Let me see if I can get up to 75. There's a good bit of traffic right now. So once I get around some of these cars, I'll get up to 75 and show you guys the RPMs. One thing I like about this gas option is, you heard that diesel was like 86 grand. This truck is basically $73,000. That's a nice price point, especially for this type of interior. And this one has the center console compared to the one that had the bench up front. So there is a lot of nice features. Like, they do upgrade the door cards on this truck. So even though this is an XLT, it does still have a nice appearance. I just wish they offer like a leather option, like a black leather option or dark gray leather option like this. If you can see this part on the seat, because I don't like the way this interior looks for the kind of money they're asking, just my opinion. We're at 74 and we're just at 2,000 RPM. So yeah, that's the only negative with that 430. I mean, if you're gonna be driving this truck full time, like you're not, you know, using this just for towing, then yeah, that 373 might make more sense. But again, if you're looking at a Tremor, you don't have a choice. You have to take the 430 rear. So we should be at the midpoint here in a little bit. But you know what, before I break off, let me just show you guys really quickly the temperatures, because I showed you guys that with the diesel in about the same area. So engine coolant's at 185, transmission's at 149, and then engine oil temperature's at 174. Well, we just made it to the midpoint and we're coasting right now, but earlier, guys, we were like just barely over 10. So in the wintertime, you guys can clearly see which truck gets affected the worst by colder climates. It's definitely the gas engine. So 11.4, and we do have to come to a stop. We stopped here with the diesel as well, so it's pretty apples to apples so far. And here's a complete stop, 11.6. And we still have to get back up to 75 miles an hour, so we're gonna lose a little bit compared to that diesel. Now, in case you're wondering about the numbers on the door, here they are. Your gross axle weight rating up front is 4,800 pounds. The rear is 7,050, which is reduced for the Tremor, and then the gross fuel weight rating is 11,499. And then here's payload at 4,285, and this truck weighs 7,214 pounds. Here we are, back at the dealership, 12 MPG, and yeah, same miles driven too. It's a little bit longer drive because of the lights. Here are the temperatures at the end for the gas pickup. 187, transmission's at 185, and then engine oil is at 181. Let's check under the engine bay. So about right here, 188.2. Now, since the headers are close by, check how hot those headers are. Whoa, 570 for like 540. So there you have it. As you would expect it, the diesel won. And I don't know, if you have to spend $12,000 for a diesel option, you have to actually have a question, is it worth it? But you know, for some people, they love the confidence of the exhaust brake, the torque going up a steep grade. But for most guys, I mean, who's really towing over 15,000 pounds? Like, I bet you most people are barely towing over 12,000 pounds when it's all said and done. But you know, hey, people just love that diesel engine, and I don't blame them. I love the diesel too. I probably will not buy a gas engine in the future unless it's for my channel, but I think this truck is definitely worth you know, purchasing over a diesel if you're towing anything less than 12,000 pounds. And as you guys saw, the 0 to 60 is pretty stout. Now, when you hook up a trailer, yes, the diesel is going to be a little bit more quicker to 60, but it is nice to see these trucks side by side, almost in the exact same trim level.